We're here with Isaac Toledano, the founder of BH Group. People see the incredible success, and you're huge in the industry. You're a titan. You've done some of the biggest deals. But you also started from humble beginnings, and success wasn't always a straight line. Real estate investors, developers, they could come from a family business, but you didn't. You started from very humble beginnings. Let's talk about the very early days and your childhood and then the first business that you got into.
Sure. So thank you, first of all, for having me. I was born in a little town up north in Israel called Nazareth Liat when I was 15, and unfortunately dropped school. My family moved to Tel Aviv.
Okay.
So I'm working since I'm 15, finished 9th grade, and since then I'm working. But I'm coming from a family that the education that we got is you need to work hard in order to be successful in life. You need to be hardworking person, honest person, a good person, and try to help other people if you can. So while my dad was a GC and contractor in Israel, so construction is not something that is strange to me. So while I was young and I had vacations from school, I used to work with my dad and going to some construction sites. But then after I grew up in Israel, met Liat, my wife. I got married when I was 24 years old, today 52, married with 8 kids and 1 granddaughter. So went through a lot in life, and still working very hard. I start very early in the morning. I finish very late at night. My first job in the US was here in Florida as a mortgage broker. It took me about a year or 2 to understand how things going here in the real estate market. Where is the market going to? What people like? And I decided that I want to become a real estate investor myself here in Florida. I had a couple of dollars, started investing in small buildings, a warehouse in Hallandale, a mixed-use building in Hollywood. And then I think in 2004, we started doing a lot of condo conversions. I was copying the model of Crescent Heights at that time.
Okay.
They were very successful.
Yes.
And I said, if this guy is doing it, probably I can do it as well. I learned the business a lot of how to convert a project. I went to see some attorneys, get some advice, speaking to contractors, marketing people, brokerage firms. And at the end, we pulled the plug. We did a few condo conversions, very successful, made a lot of money. And I think fast forward 22 years after, had a lot of ups and downs, very bullish on the Florida market.
Yes.
I'm not investing, as you probably know, in other states, in other markets, Florida only, I would say South Florida. We love what we do, and I'll answer all your questions that today, and hopefully the viewers will like what they hear.
Let's start from the beginning. So your first business that you got into, I believe, was a landscaping business, and quickly you grew that business. How did that evolve, and how did you get started in the landscaping business?
So when I dropped school, I need something to do. So a friend of mine telling me, hey, someone just offered me to participate in a landscaping venture with him, but we need some capital and I don't have the money. So I said, what do you guys need? He told me at that time, was, I don't know, 35, 37 years ago, he tells me, we need about 5,000 shekels. Today it's equivalent to $1,700.
Yeah.
So I went to my dad. I said, Dad, I need a loan from you. And he tells me what the money for. I told him that. He says, I like it. I'm going to go with you guys. I'll pay for all the equipment. I'll help you guys. I got the loan from my dad. Was able to pay him back about a month and a half after. We start knocking on doors. Went to some maintenance companies or management companies, we call them in Israel, and said, hey, give us the opportunity. We're young, hardworking people. Let us show you what we can do, and we're going to give you the first service, the first loan service for free. A couple of them said no. A couple of them said yes. And I think after about 4 months, I made at that time so much money. I said, you know what, business is good. I really don't need school.
You had the entrepreneurial spirit early, and you guys went out and knocked on doors, and you said, we're going to be successful. We're going to do the hard work. As a real estate investor and developer, you need that grit, and you need those kind of personality traits. So from landscaping to where you're at today, there's a lot more to the story. How did you get into real estate initially?
Obviously, as I said, real estate is not something that is strange to me. I saw what my dad used to do. And at one point, when I started here as a mortgage broker, I used to arrange loans and originate loans for some real estate investors. And I saw this guy's buying this house, flipping it, making money. How this guy buying a multifamily building, small building, flipping it, make money. I said, hey, I can do it as well. And this is how I started. I think my first building, I bought it for like $600,000 in Hallandale. The down payment was 20%, $120,000. I flipped the deal like about 9 months after for like $1 million profit. And I bought 2 apartment buildings in North Miami, made nice amount of money. I think that in my world until today, I always look at other people. I try to learn from other people's mistakes. I see what's the trend. I always say to my kids, the trend is your friend. Don't go against the trend. And at that time, investing in real estate was the trend. I copied some of the successful people. And I think today, in 2026, I'm still doing the same. And I'm trying to follow my successful partners and follow successful big players in the industry. But at the same time, I'm trying to be very, very focused. We're getting all the time and opportunities to invest in other markets. And it's not easy to say no. When someone brings you a deal in New York and say,
Right.
you'll buy this thing at 60% discount or 70% discount, not easy to say no. But I think discipline is important. And I keep saying no to investments in other markets. I think I have this fiduciary duty to myself, to my family, to my partners, to my investors, to stay focused.
You're very focused, and we can tell that you love trophy properties, the best of the best, iconic properties. It makes raising capital and it makes the deal so much easier when you have a really high standard. Where did you develop this standard for high quality? Was that something that you had growing up, your parents, your friends, you learned from someone else along the way? You also mentioned your wife has a lot of influence in your business. Where did you develop that eye for good real estate?
George Perez calls me Mr. Nose. He says that I have very, very good nose and instinct for real estate. I think that I developed this instinct, and I'm still working on it every day, to know what I want is prime real estate, less competition as possible. The problem is that every day there is less and less unique real estate and this special opportunities available. But we're trying to be creative, and we're creating the next deal and the next deal, trying to work in special areas, Coconut Grove, Sunny Isles, Bell Harbor, Palm Beach, trying to stay in these unique locations, because when we're announcing project, I don't want to compete with another 35 developers. I prefer, if I can, no competition or minimum of competition.
Right. And that's not easy. Other developers are trying to, for the same strategy. What's an ideal deal for you, and how do you know when it is the right opportunity?
I think I got from God a gift of this strong instinct. I'm a strong mover. I know how to see a deal today, underwrite it today, do due diligence today, put an offer today, and close on it next week. If I want something. If I don't want something, you'll bring me a deal at 80% discount. My answer is a no, I'm not touching it. I don't like to buy garbage properties. We like to buy prime real estate. I learned that prime real estate, in the good times and in the bad times, you'll always do better than others. My wife, which unfortunately she's not here today, she have this strong instinct, I will never buy a piece of property without Liat looking at the deal, giving me her input, and yes, I like it, I don't like it. And a couple of times that I went against her opinion, I got burned.
Wow.
So I can tell you that today I learned, don't go against Liat's instinct, and don't go against Liat's opinion.
That's a great story, because I was talking with my wife this morning about an area that I was looking to invest in, and she said, I don't think you should focus there. And I thought, she just needs to understand. But wife's intuition is very powerful, and she's your partner. I mean, you guys have 8 children together, a grandchild. The story of how you guys met is actually really fascinating too. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So like everything that I do in life, which is fast, same thing happened with Liat. We met in Israel. Liat was here in the United States since she was 6 years old. She was born in Tel Aviv, moved to the United States when she was 6 years old. But at one point in her life, she wanted to move back to make Aliyah to Israel. And thank God that I had the opportunity of meeting her. So guess what? I met Liat. On the second date, I knew that she's going to be my wife. After 3 weeks, I proposed to her.
Wow.
We got married after 3 months. Today we are together, thank God, knock on wood, we are together 28 years, and God willing, for another 100 years together.
Where was the first date? Where did you see her? How did that happen? There was no dating apps back then.
In a club in Tel Aviv, I was with my friend and my brother. She was there with her friend. We were looking at each other. We never spoke. The following week, I saw her again, and I said, I'll make the move. I didn't have the guts to make the move. So she made the move.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and her friend came to me and says, my girlfriend looks at you. She really like you, but she's saying if you are single, and if you're really single, she would like to meet you. I said, yes, I'm single. She gave me her number. We spoke at that day. The following day, we met together, and since then, it's history. This was, I think, in 1997.
Wow, that's amazing. And she must be a very strong, incredible woman to have 8 children and to manage the house from what I understand, deal with someone who is as high performing as you, I'm sure working around the clock. How important is family to you? Of course, you have a big family. What are some of the things that you do to teach them, bring them up, instill good values in them?
So the family is very important, not important, very important. Unfortunately, for the last 25 years, I don't have a lot of time to spend with the family, so we have a deal. And because after the 4th child, I wanted to stop, and I told Liat, let's stop it. And she says, anyways, you're always not here. Anyways, you're always working. I give you my word that I'll raise the kids, I'll handle everything, I'll help you in the business as much as I can. And you know what? She honored what she promised me. Today, my oldest daughter, she's 26 and a half, and my youngest one, she's almost 8 years old. So we got any number between 26 and 8, and I can tell you that Liat honored her commitment. But thank God that I'm observing Shabbat, and this is the best 25 hours at the week that I have, because comes Friday evening, I close my phone, there is no business, there is no Zoom calls, there is no meetings. I'm for 25 hours only for Liat and for the family and for the kids and things that I didn't have the time to handle or to speak or to hear during the week. The kids knows that, hey, comes Shabbat, Dad is all ours. We'll speak to him, we'll get his opinion, we'll get his advice. But my family knows, and this is a rule. Yes, I'm busy. I'm not busy. I'm very busy. But every time that you guys need me, I'm here for you. So I'm one phone call away, I'm one text message away, and they know. If you send me a message and you said, Dad, it's important, I will respond. If it's not important, I will call them later in the day. But I think that this thing was not possible unless I had Liat as my partner, and I knew that I can count on her.
That sounds incredible. Hopefully we have the opportunity to meet her one day.
Sure.
And let's talk about your kids for a little bit, and we can talk about deals and investing and capital structures. I recently had my first son, so he's
Congrats.
10 and a half months. We're in the learning phase of parenting. You have a lot of experience. How has raising 8 kids, getting them in, some work in real estate, some work in the business, how has that process been on different personalities? I'm sure they're all a little different. Maybe some are the same. Can you talk a little bit about the kids and their evolution and where they're going and what you want for them?
Sure. Obviously, in today's world, and the childhood is different than our childhood, but with social media, Instagram, TikTok, and all this, the kids are exposed to a lot of information, to a lot of data, to a lot of ideas. Trying to sit and explain my kids, hey, this is a great business, come and join me. Some of them say, no, I got this idea and I got this business. So thank God some of the kids are working with us, and I hope that more will join us. Raising a family in today's world is not an easy thing. the kids, they want this brand and this shirt and this shoes and this iPhone and this iPad, and they want to go and travel to that place and this place. Kids, the things that you and I as kids were not exposed to. But this is today's world, today's technology, and we're getting adjusted to that, and it's only improving. And now we see AI, and who knows what's coming next. Raising 8 kids in today's world is not an easy thing. Obviously, kids are growing, and when the kids are growing, the problem grows with them,
Right.
and they know what they want. And my brother-in-law used to tell me years ago when my kids were little, he said, wait and see. When the kids are little, the problems are small. When the kids are getting older and bigger, the problems are getting bigger. And today, I can tell you in 2026, he was right so much, but I'm trying to adjust to that. I'm trying to explain my kids, if you want to come and work with me, if you want to come and join the family business, you need to be dedicated to this. And if you see yourself working with us, don't come just to spend time and tell me in 6 months, I'm going to this vacation, that vacation, and now I want to go to this, I want to go to that. They understand it's not easy to be the son of Liat and Isaac Toledano because we're very demanding. Liat, she much more strict with the kids than me, much more strict than me. Thank God I usually never fight with my wife, but if sometimes we have arguments, is about the kids, I spoil them. They come and ask for $100, I give them $200, and Liat is much more strict than me. But I think this is the balance between us. One is soft, the other one is not, and I'm pretty sure that you see it in a lot of other families. Asking me what I really want is I want more of the kids to come in and join the business, but I don't want them to come in and do it just to satisfy myself or satisfy Liat. I want them to do it because they think that this is the right thing for them. My son Nuriel just started at at the college. He says more than once that he wants to come and join the family business. So I want him to go to college. After he finished college, he's going to go probably to work with one of my partners or one of my competitors. Let them gain some experience, and then he will come work with us. Some of the kids are very, very talented. Shirel, my daughter, she's Isaac Toledano, but in a female version.
Lethal.
Yes. Yeah. And you got some of the kids are very smart. Orel, my son, is very smart. He has that killer instinct. He's a very, very smart. So each one of them has something else. Shiraz, she's special. Sivan, she's special. But at the end of the day, each kid has his own character, his own ideas, his own vision. We here as a parents to guide them and give them the best ideas and the best tools. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have, as a parents, we're gonna have to honor the kids' opinions and the kids' ideas. And we're here always to support them.
Awesome. They have a great role model.
Listen, 100% yes, but I'm still learning from some of the mistakes and things that I still didn't do right. One of the things that my kids really looking at us every day is how Liat respecting her mom, how Liat respecting my parents, how Isaac at 52 years old is respecting his parents, my brothers and my siblings, and even sometimes my kids or Liat knows that if they want to tell me something and they want someone to have influence at me, they go to my dad. My dad is a very important person to me. Until today, he's one of my closest friends, my best advisor after Liat. And sometimes when someone needs something from me, he goes to my dad and says, can you please speak to Isaac, ask him to do this or ask him to consider that.
Family is so important, and sometimes that gets lost in today's society. Isaac, you have had an incredible career, and it seems like every other week, I think of you like Steph Curry, okay? This guy is making shots from half court, like just can't miss. And people, of course, love the success and love to see these huge deals that you're doing now. But business is a journey, and we like to say it's a long game, and you're 52 now. In the early days, what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome? I heard the story of interviewing for the mortgage company and that process. If you could talk about that, because the viewers, everyone, including myself, we all have challenges. We've all failed at something in the past, but we've gotten back up and kept going, and that's part of the process. Please talk about the ups and the downs and how you overcame some of those challenges in your career.
You know, if you're putting people in the room, you have those guys that are winners and you have those guys that are losers. I'm always trying to be a winner. For many years, it's not now and it's not 10 years ago. For many years, I always want to be a winner. And I think the difference between a winner and a loser, the winner doesn't stop trying until he's successful. The loser, he tried once, twice, he failed, and he says, okay, that's it, I'm done. I want to be a winner. And the fact that I want to be a winner, I want to try to find the best deals. I want to do deals with the best partners. You see some of our portfolio, we have the best partners in the country, Related Group, Coulter, Lennar, Pep, Enterprises, and many others. So good partners is very important. Finding good properties, it's very important, but money comes and money goes. I think that a person should be a good person. And yes, I went through challenges in my life because not every day, is great day and it's shiny, and that sometimes, those days that it's gray and it's raining. Same thing in life and sometimes in the business as well. I learned from the past mistakes that I did is don't try to think that you can do everything yourself. Don't try to be greedy and say, I'll keep 100% of the profits, I'll do everything. Today, I can tell you that I prefer to do in a deal 50%, 60%, 40%, but having the right partner next to me, someone that has the capabilities, helping with the day-to-day, helping with good ideas, helping with execution, and helping to take projects to the finish line. I think this is something that made me successful and helped me to choose the right deals and the right partners. I'm not going to call George Perez, JP, or Nick and tell them that I have a golf course to build single-family home on townhomes. But I will call them if I have a great site, a waterfront property, or something to build a high-rise or mixed-use project. You need to try to balance the right deal with the right partner, balance life with business and family, and sometimes try to balance and don't go all in. And this is why a few years ago, we changed a little bit our business model and we exposed our business to capital partners, to investors. If you would talk to me 5-6 years ago, I wouldn't speak to LP partners. I wouldn't take LP partners.
Wow.
And the business model changed. And I said, instead of doing 10 deals as a sole owner and as 100% profits for the Toledano family, let me make today 50% of that, and it's working. And you know what? This model works perfect.
That model and your business has really exploded since then, and I'm sure it was successful at that time. What was it because that's a key inflection point, and a lot of people, they want 100% of the profit and can over negotiate in a deal or with different partners. What was it that said, okay, I want partners, I could be better with partners? Was there a moment? Was there a deal? Was there something that internally you said, okay, this opportunity I'm gonna try out with this partner, this deal, and then you said, okay, this works, and let me refocus my strategy and open up my business with partners? Because almost all of your deals now, you have partners.
I can tell you sitting today here that I don't have one single deal without partner.
Yeah.
And I'm happy, I'm proud, this model works perfect for me, and I hope that it works for them. I can tell you that 99% of the partners that I have is partners that continue with me to the next deal and to the next deal, which I think is a good sign.
It's a great time.
Otherwise, if you do a deal with someone and he gets burned, he doesn't continue with you to the next deal. And I think the fact that the best developers and partners in the country continue with me from one deal to another, I think it speaks for itself. Very easy being my partner because I always do what's good for the deal, not what's good for me. I always looking at everything. Who's the capital partner, the lender, the partner in the deal, and hey, that's okay. Let's leave on the table a few dollars. Let's make sure that everybody's happy. Greed is something that I learned from home, is stay away from that.
Yeah.
My dad says, always try to be good with people, try to be honest with people, try to be generous with people, and what goes around comes around. And I think this model works.
Yeah, absolutely. We have my personal guide and number one for partnerships, because there's partnership risk. Not all partnerships are repeat. Not all partnerships in well. Is no ego. Is no ego, and like you said, Isaac, do what's best for the deal. There's a lot to go around. These are big deals. There's going to be challenges. Let's work through them together. Let's orient ourselves on the relationship and focus on growing the pie and delivering value and having everyone be collaborative.
100%. I agree with you. And I want my kids to learn that as well. I just spoke to my son a couple of days ago on a new deal that I'm working with someone with one of the biggest developers in the country. And he tells me, but why you want to do the deal at 55, 45? I said, oh, well, 45% of this deal is worth about $50 million. That is really make a difference if it's going to be 52 or $50 million.
Right.
It's a lot of money. Let them be happy. I'll be happy. And the deal will move to the next chapter. Yesterday, he was very proud when I called him and I said that the JV agreement was signed.
Awesome. Amazing. How did you meet Related, and how did that relationship start?
So I bought with a friend of mine and a partner of mine a piece of property in Hollywood on the water. I think this was in 2011 or 2012. And at one point, the deal got complicated on getting entitlements and getting the zoning for a high rise and increasing the density. And all of a sudden, I'm getting a call from the seller. And the seller tells me, are you willing to walk away from the deal for $5 million profit? And I said, what's going on here? What am I missing here? I asked for a meeting, and I saw that he's eager to take me out of the deal after he signed the contract, and I have a deposit, and we're scheduled to close. It took me about an hour to pull from him that George Perez wants to come into the deal.
Okay.
And I said, instead of trying to push me away from the deal, let's do a three-way deal. You can stay instead of as a seller. Maybe you'll take some of the cash, and some of the cash you'll keep in the deal, and you'll be a partner. Let's bring the Related group, and we will stay in as a partners because I'm not planning to sell you back the deal. We met with George. We met with Carlos Rosso at that time. And I think at my third meeting with George, we finished the deal in a very, very favorable terms. At the end of the day, I can tell you the deal made a lot of money. And as soon as the joint venture agreement was signed, because as you probably know and the viewer knows, always the first deal, it's not easy to execute.
Right.
You don't know the other side. The attorneys don't know each other. There is, this ego game in the table. Everybody wants to show who's smarter, who's stronger. But we got the deal signed because it was really an honor and a pleasure. And until today, working with Related as a partner. We signed the deal, and since then we did so many deals because it was just copy, paste, improve, copy, paste, improve. Today we have many projects with Related, from Fisher Island, W in Pompano Beach, the Ritz-Carlton residence in West Palm Beach, and many more. And thank God, very happy I became a friend with the Perez family, George, JP, Nick. We have great working relationship and looking forward to do many more deals with them.
Awesome. And capital is really important in these large deals. You've developed some really incredible capital relationships through the trust, through your word as your bond, doing the right thing, having great partners, following through on your commitments. Let's talk about the capital part of the business, because a lot of the viewers, it's like a black box to them, raising capital. What are some of your secrets on raising capital when you first started, and how that's evolved over the years to today?
So for many years, we wouldn't work with outside capital. Then the business model changed. As I told you today earlier, is I like the world of copy, paste, improve. And I saw some of my partners working with outside capital, and I said, hey, look at their multiple, look at their returns. Maybe it's not a bad idea. So we start doing from one deal to another, and it's working perfect. It's working for us. It's working for the partners. It's working for the LP capital. I can tell you in the good times, in the bad times, if you have the right deal, you'll find the capital. The problem is not to find the capital. The problem is to find the right deal. The problem is to find this next jewel, this next diamond, because if you have the right deal, you'll find the money. And I can tell you, without going into specifics, I got a call about a year ago from some of my friends and partners and said, hey, we have this deal, we have issue to raise capital. We're looking at about $100 million. The market was not easy at that time, but I really liked the deal. And I said, what is the split between us? We finished the deal terms.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 days to get the commitment, send about $10 million in non-refundable deposit to get the deal locked and committed. And I did raise all the money for this deal. And I can tell you that I have many stories like this. If you know what you're doing, if you have good reputation, if people like you, if people trust you, you're going to find the right partner, you'll find the money, and you probably will find the right deal.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the fastest deal that you've done? So you're known for speed. You're known for making quick decisions, underwriting, like you said, you're great with numbers. What's the fastest deal that you've done in your career?
There is many stories I can give you, but one that comes to my mind is in March of 2020, when COVID just started, I got a call from a friend of mine saying, Isaac, I need to meet with you urgent. We went to lunch. I said, what's the story? He says, I have a problem. I have this golf course under contract in the Aventura market called Presidential Estate Golf Course. I said, what's the deal? He tells me the deal. He's telling me that the deal is in litigation with the prior owners because the homeowner association is objecting to development, and there is no zoning, and there is no development rights. And then I said, what's your purchase price? He said, $10 million. I said, what the deposit you put on the deal? He said, $500,000. At that time, I was at lunch with another friend and a partner of mine, and he really liked the deal. He said, Isaac, but this guy is not easy to control.
Yeah.
I'll let you handle it. So I told this guy, what is the deal you're looking for? And he says, you'll put all the cash and I want 50% of the deal. I said, it's not going to work for me.
Right.
He said, what will work for you? I said, I'll give you your money back. I'll give you $1 million profit, or I'll give you your money back and 10% of the deal, and you step aside, let me handle it. Remember, now COVID starting, nobody knows really what's going on. He agreed to the deal to take back his $500,000 plus $1 million profit. We went to my office. I made him sign on an assignment of contract, like in 2 hours.
Yeah.
What he did not know is when I looked at the contract, I saw that the attorney that representing the sellers at that time is also one of my attorneys. So after I finished with him the deal and signed the assignment, I wired him the money. I picked up the phone and I called the attorney, which is a friend of mine, and he's also the attorney representing the seller. I said, hey, mister, you guys scheduled, you have a closing that is scheduled for next week? He says, yes. I said, guess what? You guys don't have a closing. He said, what happened? I said, this guy doesn't have the money. He came to me to bail him out. COVID just started. I don't think there is a deal. He says, and how are you getting involved? I said, this guy came to me, he wants me to bail him out, but I'm willing to do it if I get the seller cooperation. I said, what cooperation you need? I said, call the seller, tell them that I'll offer them $5 million to the deal, and I'll close in 1 week. He says, Isaac, you're crazy. This is 50% discount. I said, please make the call. He made the call. He called me like 3 hours after. He says, Isaac, I don't know if it's your lucky day or what, but they agreed to $5,750,000, and they want to close within 3 days. We closed within 3 days. We gave that gentleman that $1 million profit. Now what are we doing with the deal? So my friend and my partner and I went to see the board of that community. And I said, listen, usually I buy problems, and this is how I make money. Let's make a deal that everybody will win. And I offered them the deal, the financial terms, and they were completely negative. I said, you sure this is how you guys want to play it? Yes. I called the litigator that was handling the litigation for the prior owners, and I said, I want you to push the judge to put this thing on the trial calendar because really nothing is happening with this case for a year. I want to go to trial. He says, are you crazy? Do you understand that if the judge says that you lose, there is no way back? I said, I'll take my risk. He pushed the other side to put this case on the trial calendar. This brought the association to the table to negotiate and to settle. On the other hand, a friend of mine introduced us to Lennar. I met with the guys at Lennar at the site. They loved the property. I explained them the risk. We sold them 50% of the deal for big profit in the deal. The rest is a history because if you're going to drive by the property today, it's under construction. We built about 60% of the homes. We started closing on the homes last month. People already living in the community. So this is a deal that we played right, all the pieces between the association, the litigation, and sometimes if you know how to execute and to move fast, you'll be successful. If you know how to do the proper due diligence and you work with the right people and the right team, you're probably going to get it done. But it's also important to select the right partner. I selected Lennar. We became very close friends. Since then, we're working on other deals.
Right.
So I think this is how you establish the relationship. And this is one example. If you know how to move fast, sometimes you'll win and sometimes you lose.
I can tell you love the deal. You love putting deals together. What continues to drive you now? You have an amazing portfolio. You have some of the best real estate in the world. What's motivating you now, and what's next on the horizon for Isaac Toledano, BH, Liat, the family, and everything?
First of all, I'm a type of person that likes to work hard, likes to work a lot. I don't like to travel a lot. I don't like to sit in the beach so much. So I'm full of passion and I'm full of energy. There is people, as I always say, they go to sleep at night and they don't want the morning to come. By me, it's exactly the opposite. I go to sleep at night and I want the morning to come. And because I really like what I do. I'm full of energy. Today, I'm not only chasing the money, I'm chasing the success. I have a fiduciary duty to my partners and to my investors. You know, just going, getting the right deal, raising the money, and then going to the beach is not me. People investing the money with me knowing that Isaac is going to be there all the way to the end, at the good times, at the bad times. Isaac is always available on the phone. If you're going to call me, 90% of the chance I'll pick up the phone. And if not, probably busy in a meeting and I'll call you within an hour or two. It's important. My partners knows that. My investors knows that. Being available to people, knowing that, hey, you invested your money with the right player, or you are partnered with the right player, someone that really cares about you, cares about your money, and cares about your deal, is important. Plus, I have to admit that Florida is enjoying a very positive momentum for the last 7-8 years. But if you're asking for my honest opinion, I think that this is just the beginning. I think in the next 10 years, Florida is going to continue to get much stronger, much better than what we see today for many reasons.
Yep.
Everybody want to be here. It's like my wife, even this morning, told me, oh, maybe let's go this weekend for vacation. I said, Liat, going to Turks and Caicos or going to Cancun, it's the same beach, it's the same sun, it's the same pool, it's the same restaurant, it's the same shopping.
It's raining in Turks this weekend. I was looking at myself.
The whole world is coming to Miami and you guys want to travel. I said, if you guys want to go without me. I'm not going. I want to stay and work.
Yeah.
So Miami is a great place. South Florida is a great place. Across our portfolio, we own not only residential, we own some office buildings, some shopping centers. So we have the data and we see tenants coming. We see operators coming, restaurants, dentists, architects, engineers, people that are expanding their footprint in South Florida. And this leads me to believe that this thing will get stronger and bigger. I talked to some players and some investors that working for years in New York and California say, we decided that we're not putting additional capital to work in New York or in California. If you have the next opportunity or the next investment, please let us know. This Sunday, I was with one of my investors that invested with us nice amount of money. And they said, we have another 100 million to allocate as equity for Florida real estate. If you have something, please keep us in mind. And I hear this thing more and more from people. I hear that from the $1 million guys, the $10 million guys, or the $100 million guys. You cannot ignore what's going on in South Florida. Many people thought that this is just something that it's maybe a temporary trend.
A COVID bump.
This is COVID. This is because of everybody came to Florida because everywhere else it was on a lockdown. And guess what? Nobody speaks about COVID for the last 2 years, but everybody's still speaking about Florida and everybody's still coming to Florida. Restaurants are full. The office buildings enjoying very strong occupancy. Retail is enjoying very strong occupancy. Give this market another 2-3 rate cuts, and you'll see that this market will be on steroids again.
On steroids. We just got the Google co-founders, which is a watershed moment. I mean, it's incredible. We have Bezos, we have Ken Griffin, we have Peter Thiel, and we have many other 100 millionaires and other billionaires coming. So Isaac, I completely agree. Florida has a huge runway, and it's just getting started. They projected that Florida, the University of Virginia, just the next 25 years, that Florida is expected to add 5.3 million more people to its population, and New York is only going to add 820,000. So we have over 6 times the amount of population growth, not to mention wealth migration coming to Florida. So we have all of the fundamentals and tailwinds. we've talked about numbers, we've talked about speed, we've talked about partners. Let's talk about underwriting deals. And let's talk about, Isaac, what are the key numbers, ratios, metrics, prices that make a good deal? What does Isaac Toledano focus on? And what are some of the key numbers that and deal structures that you like when you're underwriting a deal?
You know, everybody's saying for many years, location, location, location. And I always say location, 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 and timing, timing, timing. And so I always try to time the right deal with the timing, what's going to happen in this neighborhood or in this area in 3 years, in 5 years, or in 10 years, trying to look long term. And there is some areas that today I'm not focused on doing deals, but there is areas that I'm very focused on doing deals. And I'm currently working on a few deals over there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you where.
Okay.
But I can tell you, as far as underwriting, the fact that this is a family-owned business, we have the flexibility to make the decisions alone. Mm-hmm. Many times we acquire the property or we will go on the contract, and only after we will bring the partner. And I think what's important is, what's the current zoning, where I want to be. Can I change the zoning here? Can I get extra height? Can I get extra density? Can I get extra FAR? What is the comparables? Is my neighbor selling at $1,000 a foot, $1,500 a foot, $2,000 a foot? What's currently on the market for sale? 20 units, 200 units. Who's my competition? How many projects currently selling around me? What's coming? If you like everything in life, regardless if you have a restaurant, if you'll have a clothing factory, you always need to do the proper due diligence. And I can tell you, sometimes the fact that we are successful on getting deals done, either with sellers or with our partners, is the fact that we know how to move fast. Speed is very important. We have the right consultants. Like, for example, I'm not a zoning attorney. And unfortunately, I got kicked out of school at 9th grade. So if I need to know something quick, there is a few good zoning attorneys that specialize in this area. This guy's good for Palm Beach. This guy's good for Boca. This guy's good for Fort Lauderdale. This guy's good for Miami. I text them, I called them, I said, hey, I need an answer within 30 minutes. What's the current zoning? Can we improve it? Then I call an architect. I say, hey, that's the site. That's the size of the property. That's the setbacks. That's the current density. What do you think? Can we do here 20 stories, 30 stories? And look at my neighbors. They just got this variance and got that variance. I call an environmental consultant that I use for many, many years. And I say, hey, Rob, I need a phase 1 done within 24 hours. We know how to pay for it. If you're going to go and just get a regular phase 1, it's going to cost you $1,500. Offer this consultant $5,000 and you'll have the report ready tomorrow.
Yep.
Same thing with surveyors, same thing with the transactions attorney. So if you know the right people, if you know how to do the right due diligence, you can probably execute fast, but you need to be sometimes a risk taker. And what's helping me in this market is that a lot of my partners are not risk takers, or they don't want to be a risk taker, which I respect that. Mm-hmm. There is others that they focus on preserving the capital, and there is others that are focused on creating the capital. It depends on which side you want to be. So sometimes we will do the deal, we will execute, we will go hard, we will sign a contract, and only then we will pick up the phone to that partner or that partner and say, that's the deal, we have it on the contract, you want to join us.
That's incredible. Speed is a key theme here. We teach our team speed. It's an advantage in sports, and it's an advantage in business. Let's talk about some of your deals. Do you have a favorite deal right now? And we don't want to offend any partners. What deal or deals are you most excited about that are in your portfolio?
The truth is, and I always say it, is I treat my deals and our projects like my kids. It's like you asking this lady or that mom, who you like more of your kids? She'll say, I like all of them. Same thing. I like all of them. I like all my deals because every deal has a different challenge. Every deal has a different story. This one has a brand. This one has no brand. This one you can build only 8 stories and you need to maximize. This one you can do a high rise. This one you can sell at $1,500 a foot. This one you can sell at $4,000 a foot. This deal will make $10 million. The other one will make $100 million. Who's going to be the partner? So every deal has a story. So being completely open and honest with you, I like all of them, because if there is a deal that I don't like, I'm not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. That makes sense. And for the viewers, people that are just starting out, people that are late in their careers, people would love to have the success that you're having. What is some advice that you would give to the listeners on how to be more successful, how to go to the next level, how to do big deals?
You need to be ready to pay a price. Pay a price with your friends, with your family. You're not going to socialize a lot. People tell me, yeah, but you can socialize, you can enjoy life, and you can work. I agree with you. If you have a team of 500 employees that will cover for you and you trust them, and maybe it's going to work. When you have a small team, it's a family-owned business. When you care about every deal, when you care about every dollar, you need to decide, what do you want to do? You want to enjoy life more? You want to work more? Someone asked me a very, very smart question a few weeks ago. He says, what's better, working hard for 5 years, making a lot of money, and then enjoy life for 50 years, or working hard for 50 years and only enjoy life for 5 years? So I'm trying to have the balance. But really, my recommendation is be focused. Hard work pays off. If you decided already that you want to go in one direction, become a real estate broker, or become a developer, or becoming an architect, or become an engineer, work hard. Yes, it's going to be some challenges, but not because there is issues or challenges or problems you're going to say surrender. If you want to surrender, go and work for FPL at 9 to 5, 5 days a week, or work as a waiter, and then you have no responsibility. Being an owner of a business, you need to assume a lot of liabilities, a lot of risk. You're not going to be able to enjoy life a lot because you have fiduciary duty to yourself, to your family, to your employees, to your investors, to lenders. Listen, you know it better than me. Putting a project together requires a lot of things. The due diligence, a lot of work, consultants, financing, banks that will give you the money, investor that will invest with you. I don't think it's fair. After you sold everybody the vision and the dream, now you got the deal closed, the lender gave you the financing, the investor gave you the money. Now you're going to say, all right, so now I'm going to go to the beach at Tel Aviv or Turks and Caicos, and I'm going to be there for 2-3 months with the family. People believe in you, trust you, don't disappoint them. Try to work hard, be an honest and hardworking person. And if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. Just go work for someone without a lot of liabilities, a lot of risk. But if you decided that you want to be an entrepreneur, get ready to work hard and get ready for those ups and downs, because it will happen.
Isaac, thank you for being on The Long Game. It's been an absolute pleasure. We appreciate you and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Awesome.